This video is about Jujutsu Kaisen, so there's a lot of spoiling. So if you haven't finished the story and you are an anime watcher, please click off, okay? This is for people who have finished the story. I don't want to be responsible for you not enjoying the story. So watch this after, I don't know, 10 years from now when the anime finishes. Week in and week out, me and my friends would wait for the next chapter of Jujutsu Kaisen to come out. My friends loved it. And I needed a bit more from this story, but it was 2 against 1, so maybe I'm the problem. But then, the last chapter of Jujutsu Kaisen came out. It was at this moment I finally knew that maybe me and my friends should take an IQ test, because the final chapter is about these 3 friends / co-workers / students going on a mission to stop this guy from harassing someone who clearly did not care for him. You look at a page like this and it probably makes you feel good. The end of something always makes you feel nostalgic. It's as if it is proof of how much you've grown. But remember, this page is from the same story where this happened. And this happened.
I knew he was stronger.
And this happened.
Now.
Japan's economy. The same story where the writer had written themselves into a corner and we got this moment. Half of Sukuna's brain was not working by this point.
I have a brain injury.
I'm sorry to...
My brain is injured.
That's terrible, and I hope...
So he used the other half that isn't responsible for domain expansions. Ha! Chicken, chicken. Spam folder. Spam folder. The same story where the main character enters the story because the other main character broke the rules and told a civilian about cursed energy. The first story in all of cinema to pull its punches, cause why didn't the merger happen, or at least begin to happen? Because the merger would have been something that the group did not plan for, hence making it the perfect moment for Yuji to shine on his own, cause who else would have stood up against it? The same story that says, and then Maki got revenge for herself and her twin sister. She then went on to kill the remaining remnants of her family, children included, greatly reducing Jujutsu weapons since your technique is in your DNA. Gojo probably did not have to die. The same story that contradicts its own rules. And for what? Millions of dollars, okay, fair. The same story where the villain who defeated countless Jujutsu sorcerers throughout history only manages to kill 2 people in the modern day. The same story where innocent lives are lost and we have nothing to say about it. It is a very fragmented story. For example, there are police officers in Jujutsu Kaisen. Some of you are shocked, I know. But Jujutsu Kaisen, guess what? Has a parliament. But none of those things serve the story, so they aren't used in any way. The story could be set in space and it would still turn out the same way that it did. Okay, I'm lying. Parliament was used in Jujutsu Kaisen. But where did that lead? It only crumbled to dust. Maybe it's the weekly scheduling, which gives the author a few days to come up with the next part of the story and to draw it as well. Maybe it's inexperience, because I believe this is Gege's first published work, I think. It could be anything, but the fact remains that Jujutsu Kaisen was always a disaster. The main character's motivation go from help people to I'm a cog to straight up revenge. Him being created to be a vessel isn't the problem. The problem is when you tell me that he isn't even Yuji. He's Sukuna's could have been brother. Megumi's a tragic case. He was violated before learning his skills, and by the time they free him, the story is over. The only bright side is that he at least avenged his father. And yes, it sounds disgusting saying bright side followed up by that line, but this is that kind of story where the big moments are where we get revenge. Nobara, well, her use to the story was her ability. She did have a backstory before her could have been death, but whatever happened to that story? We never even got to see her mother. We never even got to see why she wanted to leave that godforsaken place, apparently. Gojo is the real main character. The best moments directly involve him, or the main villain. This battle is clearly between Gojo and Sukuna, but since Yuji is the humble one, he is the one who is supposed to carry that flag. I think they say, what, Japanese people are humble and polite. That's what they say. I've never been. Jujutsu Kaisen is very tiring because there's a lot of fights from its conception, and for some people that's enough. Yet it was considered by a lot of people to be in the big three, along with One Piece and My Hero Academia. Two superior stories. I hope I'm not the only one battling with myself over Jujutsu Kaisen, because Dragon Ball is also about fighting, yes? But how did Dragon Ball start? It started as a goofy comedy action about an indestructible child. Dragon Ball began upping the violence to keep up with the times, most probably, by making Goku a father. Child soldiers are never preferable since, it's immoral. But that led to the golden age of Dragon Ball, the master of puppets of Dragon Ball. Dragon Ball increased its scope. It explained Goku's backstory. And once the backstory was done, it had become a part of his reality forever. That's what I remember of Dragon Ball. Jujutsu Kaisen leaves me frustrated, the kind of frustration that my friends get when I tell them that the Bound arc is my favorite Bleach arc.